Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Clarity Code, Mastering the Language of Entrepreneurial Leadership. My name is Michelle Eisenberg, and I am a program assistant at the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center. And for those of you who may not know, the Nasdaq Center is a nonprofit improving access and knowledge in entrepreneurship to advance economic progress for all. And as you will see in the chat in just a moment, the Nasdaq Center provides programs, resources, and exceptional mentorship to help entrepreneurs fuel prosperity no matter where their journey begins. So be sure to check out those links and resources shared in the chat. And we are going to launch a few polls just to step back and take a temperature gauge on how everyone is doing today. And we use this information to guide the programs we provide for this global community of entrepreneurs. So if there are any specific topics or challenges you would like us to create, let us know. Feel free to share those in the chat here. Now, just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. First, let us know where you are dialing in from by dropping it in the chat. We always love to see where everyone is joining us for our time together today. And second, we are going to try to squeeze in some live Q&A at the end of the event. Please make sure to drop your questions in that Q&A function at the bottom of your screen, and we will try our best to get to all of them. Now, while you are answering this last poll here, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the incredible support of our corporate partners, and the work that we do at the center would not be possible without their generosity and belief. And so, including Nasdaq, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, KPMG, Walmart, the Asia Innovation Hub, Wilson Sonsini, the Narit Foundation, the Global Innovation Institute, KKR, and BPM. And we are deeply grateful for their partnership and hope you will join us in sharing that appreciation. Looks like you got this last poll here. Sales coming up in the lead, followed by finance, and then maybe marketing. Got needs all across the board here. So thank you so much for sharing those. Let me see where everyone's dialing in from. Awesome. We got Chicago, New Jersey, New York, Georgia, Florida, Nebraska. Wonderful. Elk Grove, Washington, D.C., Oregon, New Orleans, Maryland, Washington, Philly, Houston, Ireland, Oahu, California, Louisiana. Wonderful. So great to have everyone dialing in from all over the place. And without further delay, please join me in giving a warm welcome to our special guest, Jacqueleen Crittle, CEO at Career Doctor LLC, leadership and C-suite coach, and Milestone Circles graduate. Hey, Jacqueline, super excited to have you joining us today.
Same here. Thrilled to be here as usual.
All right, and as right before I pass it over, Jacqueline has added a couple polls. So we're just going to launch one more poll here just to see where everyone's at before we kind of jump into this topic of entrepreneurial language. So let me launch that poll, and there's two questions here. How confident are you in clearly communicating your value in high stakes moments? Very confident sometimes. Let us know. And the other question is, what matters most to you when you speak about your business or leadership? So I'll give it just a moment for everyone to submit their response here, and this will help Jacqueline as she kind of dives into the topic for today. Give it one more moment. All right. I'm going to end this poll and share these results.
Mm.
All right. Looks like how confident are you in clearly communicating your value in high stakes moments? Most folks said confident, sometimes inconsistent under pressure. I'm sure we have a lot of insights as it relates to that. And then, what matters most to you when you speak about your business or leadership? Building trust and credibility took the lead.
Hmm.
All right, Jacqueline, I'm going to pass it over to you.
All right, all right. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get the ball rolling. So hopefully everybody can see my screen. I'm Jacqueline, as they mentioned. I am excited to be able to bring you the Clarity Code courtesy of Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center and the Career Doctor LLC. Today, our focus is really going to be targeting entrepreneurial founders and leaders, but let's be honest, really it's anybody that's in today's audience that wants to communicate value in a more confident manner for those high stakes moments. Any aspect of it. So we're chock full of questions today, but I'm going to share something with you that may or may not be revolutionary. Today, in this session, the information that I'm going to share, it may not be shocking in a groundbreaking way, but what may be shocking to you is that most of the information that I'm going to share, many of you may already know it, but for whatever reason, you're not owning it. You're not taking the effort to really own the information and make it your own. And so, for those of you that are really ready to own it, I'd like to ask you this one question. If you had 30 seconds to explain the value of what you do and your audience could only remember just one sentence, now what would that one sentence be? Grab a pen, grab a paper, and I want you to write it down. I'll give you a couple of seconds to make that happen. If you only had 30 seconds, keeping it short and sweet, to explain the value of what you do, and your audience could only remember just one sentence, what would that one sentence be? Now, here's what I want you to do. For those of you that are taking the time to write this down, I want you to harness that until the very end of today's presentation, because at the end, we've got a special surprise and a special gift for all those that are attending that's going to help you be able to cultivate that statement in a way that you couldn't even imagine. All right, you ready to get down to it? Let's get started. So in reality, what I want to share with most of you is that we've all heard some amazing pitches. We've heard some people give some groundbreaking presentation. I know I have. And the essence of each one of them had a common thread. There were really three threads that were consistent. Number one, founders and or leaders, doesn't matter which one you are in your organizations or if you're just an entrepreneur, you really may have experienced a moment where you're sharing tons of features and benefits. Everything is getting lost in translation. Very complex messages inundated with all sorts of details. Some of us are really about impressing our audience, and so we're focusing on the accolades. We're trying to dazzle our audience with quantifiable facts and figures. And guess what? They're all good facts and figures, but they really, really, really fail to connect. But my personal favorite is that leader or that founder that is really well poised and they speak well. They're speaking very clearly and concisely, but for some odd reason, they couldn't inspire their audience. They seek to not be able to build that trust. And so that's one of the biggest hurdles that we need to overcome. See, here's the fun facts. In every room, doesn't matter whether you're with your peers, partner, friends, family, corporate, and or professional environments, we're all trying to explain something to impress upon our opinions, various metrics, but there's a very rare few that have been able to really truly connect and really captivate an audience. Let's take a look at who some of those people that have been really part of that rare few. Now, we all know the late, great Steve Jobs. And here's the thing with Steve. Steve did some amazing work. When he first launched the iPhone, he was able to lean into all three of those paradigms. He could explain it well to us. He impressed upon us a way that we were really able to connect with his message. And more importantly, he was able to build a sense of trust that, hey, could he really do this? Think about it. The iPhone was able to bridge the gap of the great divide from our house phone to our cell phone to our radio to our alarm clocks. And the bonus, we could even take some notes on it. So it was all in one. So he really impressed upon us. But when we think about people that have been able to present in a miraculous way and maybe receive funding and get investors and get everybody that full buy-in, the gold star goes to Airbnb. If any of you haven't seen the Airbnb pitch deck presentation, Google it. It's absolutely amazing, groundbreaking, revolutionary even. They made the great divide between travel, luxury, entertainment, affordability. It made it seem like it was just something that we all needed and wanted to experience. And guess what? Most of us have. It's been one of the most landmark pitch presentations ever delivered. But I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the Shark Tank. Shark Tank, one of their most infamous, most successful Shark Tank pitch presentations came from our favorite Scrub Daddy. Scrub Daddy. Scrub Daddy really connected with the audience through visual imagery, right? You know, we saw it, we see it, seeing is believing. We were super excited. It wasn't so much about his charisma or his charm. It was just the clarity in his message. Simple, direct, and to the point. There are tons of compelling stories, and I could use my voice to tell you all of them, but I won't. I want to share with you 4 succinct founder messages that focus on building that credibility, creating connection, and guess what? The common denominator, they're all going to do it in under 1 minute. Because why not? Concise sounds confident, and we want to practice the art of brevity as we learn about the Clarity Code. So, first up at bat is the clear stakes. This particular pitch really knocked it out the water for me, not just because it was in 1 minute, because it had 0 wasted verbiage. Check it out.
How long did it take you to achieve that portfolio?
2.5 years.
Wow. Okay, so show me, walk me through your investment strategy.
Absolutely. Our buy box, very specific. The model is we would buy 2-bedroom, 1-bath houses that had 1 or 2 car garages. We would then convert those garages into living space. So our 2-bed, 1-bath, 900 square foot house with a 2-car garage turned into a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house, 1,400 square feet. By me making the house 50% larger, I increased that back end value. I'm now refinancing based on the after repair values. I'm getting 100% of my money back, cashing out on the equity. So we're in the black before a tenant walks into the door.
Whoo, rapid pace, but talk about serving it up to solve a problem. I love it. I hope you're taking notes here. Because next, we're going to talk about our ability to walk our listener audience through a personal journey, making that emotional credibility, that authentic value.
People often ask me why I spend hours working on just a single fender. To me, it's never been just about the shine. It's about respect. Respect for the machine. I started this journey in my parents' driveway when I was just 16, with nothing but a bucket and a dream. Years of learning, perfecting, and obsessing over the smallest details that most people miss. That obsession isn't work to me. It's my craft, and it's exactly what built this shop. We built this place to be different. A place where your vehicle gets the treatment it truly deserves. Honest work, real results. That's my promise to you when you hand me your keys. I'm ready to bring your car back to life. Welcome to our shop.
Yeah, that emotional credibility. Short, simple, a little more detail, but that human component with that personal story is undeniable. But here's my personal favorite. I'm a person that really builds my brand around my own intrinsic value. How I differentiate myself from others is tied directly to my own value. This leader really shows us how to differentiate in a very compelling way without over-explaining.
What makes us different is that we don't ask companies to change how they work. We fit into how they already operate. That means faster adoption, less disruption, and real results in weeks, not months. Our customers choose us because we simplify complexity and give leaders confidence in their decisions. At the end of the day, we make things clearer, and that changes how businesses perform.
Yeah, short, sweet, and to the point. But we're evolving. We're all about evolution, and our ability to shape the world so that we can think future forward is going to be for the win each and every time. Our ability to paint a vivid picture. Check out what this founder had to say.
People often ask me, what problem is your company solving today? But I tell them, we're not just fixing today's mess. We're building tomorrow's foundation. Imagine a world where the word waste is obsolete, where every discarded bottle isn't trash, but a seed for something new. A park bench, a playground, a second chance for our planet. We aren't just a recycling company. We are the architects of a renewable reality. Changes happen not when we clean up the past, but when we design the future. This is our vision. Join us in shaping what comes next.
Yeah, those are all amazing stories. Various founders and how they articulate their brand and what they can offer. But I ask you, let's rest for a moment and just ponder, which one of these stories is yours? Are you the problem solver, the person that's going to give all the analytical data points with precision to be able to provide that clarity for your customers or your future clients or your leadership realm? Are you the one that wants to tell that journey, to walk through and become a dynamic storyteller, to really connect with that human touch? Maybe you're going to be the value builder like me, where you want to just articulate the value in a way that's unshakable. Or maybe you're just simply future forward. You're that visionary where you can transcend the essence of what's happening now to our next. Well, if you're none of those, or if you haven't figured it out yet, let me tell you this fun fact. The difference between your unforgettable presentation, pitch, and/or story and a forgettable one or unforgettable one isn't about the talent, it's the technique. It's born out of your gift to be able to storytell. And that's what we are going to focus on today in terms of communicating with a heightened level of confidence. Because here's another question. If your voice had the power to make people believe in you before you ever proved anything, simply because of how you showed up and spoke, what if we could make that happen? I think we can. Let's take a look. So there are just a few fun facts about what founders really believe. And I find this showing up in my executive coaching realm a lot of the times, and I see it in the chat in terms of the poll that you first took. Yeah, sometimes it's all about our ability to have confidence in ourselves. But I don't think confidence is really the problem when we don't show up as we need to. It's more of a clarity problem. Here's what I mean. Uh, when we come into the arena, we want to give all the data points. It's information overload. We don't think about it in a concise manner where we're just giving just the facts. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. We're inundated with all kinds of features, benefits, and things that really confuse and clutter the minds of our audience. My personal favorite is not enough meaning. We simply don't focus on the why we are here and what's in it for you. There's never enough meaning. So in walks the clarity code. And today we're going to crack that code. Today we're going to focus on what the clarity code means, and we're going to talk about how we're going to utilize it to win opportunities, win a room, win business, and to communicate with clarity. So what is clarity? So clarity for us is going to be compounded by 3 multiplying elements. Number 1, confidence. Multiplied by simplicity, let's keep it simple, and relevance. Pretty easy, right? Well, easy to say, maybe not as easy to implement and or do. Because when it comes to knowing our value, guess what? I ask this question all the time. What's your superpower? What's your value? Where is your product going to provide the best value? Where does your service provide the best value? And people struggle to articulate that. It should be seamless. We know it. We own it, especially if it's about us, for us, or impacting us. Simplicity. You've heard me say this many times before. Concise sounds confident. We're practicing the art of brevity. So we want to call attention by keeping it simple, all right? Very simple language. And all of these things, when we bridge those gaps together, they create a seamless connection. Because here's what you know. If you master one of these codes, you're better than most. But if you master all three, you're unstoppable. And I don't know about you, but I want us all to be unstoppable. So let's see how we can make that magic happen. So we're diving in just a little bit deeper into the code, and we're looking at step 1 of the code. Step 1 is always going to be focused and centered around clarifying the problem. So for those of you who are taking notes, this is a keeper. Clarifying the problem so that it's clear and so that nothing else that you have to say really matters. This is a big issue. Who is this for? That's the very first thing that we want to talk about. So you've got to know your audience. So today, when we started our session, I asked a few questions because I want to know, who am I delivering to? What is this for? Why is this going to be so important to them? Because you want to shake some of the angst that you have about occasionally being able to deliver to making it a consistent level of clarified delivery. So who is this for? The second thing is, what is the pain that you're feeling? So many of us are feeling in this audience that, I'm unsure of myself, especially when it's really a high stakes environment. I get nervous, I get shaky, and sometimes it just doesn't land the way that I hope. So we've got to know the pain of the audience. I understand your pain for today's training session. What happens if nothing changes? So you've got to ask yourself, if I deliver this, put yourself in the framework so that people actually see themselves. If they don't see the change happening, they don't see how it's going to impact them, you will never land. So we want to make sure that we do that. And you see the pro tip. The best problem statements make your audience nod in recognition. Yep, I'm on board. I'm checking in before you even mention the solution. That's when you know that you've achieved the clarity. Once you've got the clarity, guess what? Now we've got to clarify the outcome. And what does that mean? It means that people don't just buy into you and or say it's a product. They buy into the outcome. What's in it for me? What can it actually do for me? And I could not think of a better, more recent example than Canva. If you guys could drop in the chat if you're familiar with Canva or if you're using Canva in your day-to-day practice. Let me know. We want to hear about it. Just drop it in the chat if you're using it. If you are, or if you aren't, it's an amazing tool. And for those of you that aren't using it, let me tell you a little bit about what Canva's doing. So recently, maybe midpoint last year in 2025, Canva unveiled a new 2.0. And 3 of the fantastic things that they did was, number 1, to be able to articulate clearly and concisely and crack that clarity code, they created a theme. And that theme was consistent throughout the day. Number 2, they used audience-centric messaging. That meant that they sharpened their story based upon the needs of their audience. So they delivered a product or service that was very relevant and very personal to us. We so appreciated it, Canva. And last but not least, they drove it all home with a memorable moment. They had that star moment. That was that moment that they took everything that happened throughout the day and they tied it back to the theme and they made it important to us. Want to see it? Let's check it out. Let's look at the theme of the day.
Today we are launching products that will completely reinvent your workflows. Products that will help you harness the power of data.
Products that will amplify your creative potential.
And products that will reimagine what you can achieve with Canva.
Can we get a drum
roll,
roll, please, from everyone
please?
here in the room? It is my honor to introduce Visual Suite 2.0. We have taken the entire visual suite and brought it all together, all in one design.
So you're telling me each page of my design can be any format I choose?
Exactly. Let me show you how it works. Let's pause for a moment and ask why. Why is bringing productivity and creativity together so important? Why does it matter? The answer is simple. It helps all of you achieve your goals.
We set out to empower the world to design because we believe everyone, everywhere, deserves an equal playing field. To land that job, to start and grow a small business, to pitch and close a deal, or even scale a global brand.
And that is why we've always had a simple two-step plan. Step 1, to build one of the most valuable companies in the world. And step 2, to do the most good we can.
That's why we've been able to donate $50 million through our partnership with Give Directly to support those in extreme poverty. It has also allowed us to plant more than 10 million trees with One Print, One Tree, and to donate more than $1 billion worth of Canva product to schools and nonprofits around the world.
Yeah, what a way to bring it on home to share with the viewing audience. Why does it matter? So right away, we got compelled by the essence of what they're doing for the greater good of the world that we're living in simply by using their product. And they stayed consistent with their theme of granting wishes. But being audience-centric, I'm not going to play this whole thing, but I'm just going to give you a snapshot of what they did to become more in tune with their consumer.
Keep all my designs organized and together.
Have multiple sizes of canvas in a single file.
Within the same document, have different sizes.
Put two designs side by side in the same document.
If Canva allowed for multiple page sizes within one project, it would be incredibly beneficial for the community.
Streamline and create one document that would then filter in and create all the others.
I would just love a bird's eye view of everything that had all of those sizes in it.
That would be awesome.
Au revoir. Bye bye.
Yeah, so they made sure that we knew that we built this for whom? Just for us. The audience was right engaged. But hey, here's how they drove it all home. It was a star moment. They took their theme of granting wishes and they made it memorable to reinforce their desired outcome. Check it out.
Hi, I'd like to add a widget to my website. Help me come up with ideas for content. I want to create a lot of designs. I love everything, nothing is bad. Add an easier way to make graphs. Add a function that is like spreadsheets love. Brainstorm design ideas would be totally skibbity if it just erased the part of the elements you hovered over.
Connection! Go directly on slide!
Interactive animation!
Insert your canvas into photos!
Data aggregation!
Multi-site!
Video adjustment!
President Bell! Record a voiceover!
Bands on our pages!
Page specifically! Record yourself on mobile! New ways to print! Add your voice! Scribbler!
Okay guys, hello, please add the widget to help you bring to life anything that you can imagine. Hello, please add the widgets. Hello, please add the widgets.
Hi everybody!
Jessica Hitch, lettering artist extraordinaire and StudioWorks co-founder. What are you doing here?
I'm here to grant the wish of kerning to everyone!
Wow! Granting your wishes is the least we could do. If you keep on creating, we'll keep getting better for you.
Today we are launching
there you
products
have
that will
it,
completely
Canva.
reinvent.
In a memorable moment, an audience-centric message that granted wishes. They were specific. They weren't just talking to everyone because let's face it, everyone is no one. We need to define that target audience, and the target audience for us was ourselves, the people that are the Canva users. They painted a visual picture and people could see themselves as part of the solution and being able to develop this amazing platform. And so it was a great monumental moment in how we bridge the clarity code. The last piece of the clarity code is clarifying your role. As we practice this clarity code and we begin to engage, it's the essence of you that's going to drive it home. Sometimes people buy into things because smart people solve problems. And we want to have ourselves seen as those smart people because we are, right? So it's not about our ego. It's not even about our professional pedigree. It's why, as a founder, I can provide the insight, the experience, and the perspective. All too often, when I hear you guys pitching or sharing your insight, I miss the value that you bring to the table, the years of dedicated experience as a founder, your corporate experience before you became an entrepreneur, your unique perspective, and the insight that you hold from the knowledge and the wisdom of having worked in the world around us. That's all part of it. As we see on the screen, we see one of our leading tech agents and one of our prominent former presidents. When they step to the table for projects that are not tied to their work, why you? Because their insight, their experience, and their perspectives matter. And so does yours. So as we think about all of the things surrounding the clarity code, the biggest thing that we're going to want to focus on is how we show up for different audiences. There's no longer the ideology that I can use the same pitch deck, the same story, the same presentation, and expect it to land in just the same way. It's not going to happen. We need a succinct message that's directed towards investors, customers, strategic partners. Everybody needs to hear and feel something just a little bit different for your core message to land. Here's what I mean. When we're talking to customers, they're going to be really listening for our practical ability to help them, our trustworthiness. We need to make sure that we're listening to understand what their concerns are, kind of like I did when this call first started. I took the time to find out what are some of your biggest concerns and why. Strategic partnering. Well, when you're talking to strategic partners, if you're in the corporate space and you want to say, speak in a confident manner, you're going to be listening for alignment. What's going on in the world? Is your company part of a rift? Don't negate the emotional situation. You want to be able to address the elephant in the room. Look for complementary strengths, mutual upsides, things that are going to matter. But maybe you're just the entrepreneur and you're talking to investors, you're doing that amazing pitch that we saw some of those founders do today, and you're going to be listening for clarity of thinking. Signal over the noise. You've got to listen for the signals. Confidence without your own ego. Just be willing to share what's most relevant to them, your target audience. Well, the clarity code is not a one and done experience. It's an opportunity for you to communicate vision clearly, be able to have a strong narrative, but then be able to articulate it in a way that brings your value to the table via your unique value proposition. So the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center and Career Doctor LLC, we didn't want to leave you with just this one and done workshop. We wanted to create an experience that was long lasting. So to help you be able to tell your stories, we're giving you a gift. Let's see what that is.
What if you could transform the minds of your audience to win more deals, to gain new investors, to encourage others to simply think different? That's the beauty of EngageX, the industry's only emotionally resonant feedback platform. EngageX identifies and analyzes high-impact moments, alignment with your goals, and emotional delivery, showing you exactly where you connect most with your audience. Practice in multiple virtual rooms with lifelike, reactionary avatars. Customize questions, environments, and feedback metrics to match your scenario. And the best part? EngageX combines AI data-driven analysis with certified human speech coaches for professional-grade feedback. Anytime, anywhere, your voice becomes your value with EngageX.
And we want to bring your voice to value so that you can master the clarity code that we talked about. So here's how that's going to happen. You're going to involve yourself with clarity in practice, not just this moment now. We don't want you to wing it. So as founders, leaders, professionals, we want to give you an effortless way to be able to communicate and to practice and refine that clarity code that you learned today. We want to give it to you in a literal sense. So with the support of the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center and my organization, Career Doctor LLC, we're giving every participant in today's workshop the opportunity to have 2 months on EngageX. Well, you'll be able to practice coaching, engage with a coach that's going to help you give rich feedback, be able to work on your public speaking and storytelling and refine it, whether you're doing a pitch and or a personal presentation, whether you're in the workspace or personal, or if you're an entrepreneur and you want to win more business or get VC or grant or bank funding, we want to give you an opportunity to have disciplined, structured communication practice. That's EngageX. So the clarity code, how's that going to work for you? As a founder, we're going to have all kind of diagnostic questions to reveal the gaps in your narrative and give you rich feedback on how to refine it. We're also going to help you refine your own story. So you remember I asked you to hold on to that story? Well, we're going to talk about that in these workshops when you go onto the platform. And we're also going to provide you with a confidence building structure that's going to help you to be able to do this. The best part, this isn't homework. This is really your strategic advantage. EngageX is going to give each member of this audience the structure to build clarity systematically, not by accident. Utilize